Hey guys, OG Albino here. I'm bringing you guys my UPO Wi-Fi Week 8 match against John and his, how do I say that? Nassau, something Nidokings. Really cool logo though. I believe John Jr. made it, another John. But yeah, we're playing up against our buddy Bagel John here. There is no Week 7 battle. Unfortunately, we had to take a forfeit win against our buddy Kurt, the Buzzwole. He just didn't have very much time that week, and we rescheduled a bunch of times and ended up just not working out. So we did unfortunately get the forfeit win there. Though I did want to kind of not have a break week and kind of maybe catch up a little bit, because breaking the fourth wall, we're way ahead in UPO Wi-Fi right now, so I figured, you know, catching up a little bit a little early wouldn't be too bad of an idea, just to try and kind of speed up the season and stuff like that, because we are getting towards the tail end here. But yeah, with that being said, not going to do a long team builder for this, just going to go over the roster and the 6 I'm bringing and all that stuff. So if you did forget our team in particular, we have the Mega Lucario, Garchomp, Rotom Wash, Rabombi, Roserade, Spiritomb, Steelix, Victini, Reuniclus, Tyrantrum, Braviary, and Kangaskhan. While our opponent's team is very, very terrifying, it consists of the Mewtwo, Tornadus T, Milotic, Amoonguss, Comfey, Incineroar, Avalugg, Mega Scizor, Komodo, Lycanroc Dusk, Nidoking, and Vikavolt. Very, very disgusting defensive, like, kind of pivot core, with Tornti and Amoonguss being that regen core, Milotic and Scizor being really fat. He has great momentum into the Mewtwo, which is a very, very scary mon. However, I think we do have one of the best low-tier checks to it in the game, which is really, really nice. This matchup is great for us, in all honesty, I'm not gonna lie. His speed tiers kind of allow us to go Adamant Mega Lucario, which is what we are doing. As you can see with the first mon, we have a Swords Dance, 3 attacks, Bullet Punch, Close Combat, Meteor Mash, Adamant Mega Lucario. This is definitely our win con. Honestly, if we can get set up with this thing, the game's kind of over. If we can find the correct opportunity to get this thing in, click a Sword Dance, we pretty much win as long as rocks are up, and we have chipped down potentially like the Tornti or something like that. We Oko like Milotic after rocks, even if he's Flame Orb, you know, Marvel Scale and all that stuff too. So really, really nice mon this matchup. And then next up we have a very Spadef Spiritomb, rocking out the Foul Play, Pain Split, Toxic, and Shadow Ball. You know what? Foul Play and Shadow Ball, this is literally pretty much here just for Mewtwo. I went Foul Play plus Shadow Ball just in case he's like a really bulky Calm Mind variant and he wants to try and set up all over me. If I just, you know, spam Shadow Ball, so I figured Foul Play would be a good option to hit that thing as well. It also hits, you know, some of his physical threats a little bit harder and stuff like that too. So I figured that'd be a nice move to have. Pain Split for longevity, and then Toxic for mons that we don't really touch, like Comfey and Incineroar. If we can catch us with a Toxic, it's really nice for the rest of our team. Next up, we have an AV Roserade, which is going to be one of our checks to the Comfey. Looking back, I don't know why I was so scared of Comfey. I think my team matched up phenomenally versus it, but I was really scared of it in prep, and I have like 4 checks on my team to it. But the first one of them being Roserade, which is a good just overall special pivot in this game. Hits his team very hard offensively, rocking out with Dazzling Gleam, Hidden Power Fire, Sludge Bomb, and Giga Drain. You know, like I said, it does switch into Comfey pretty easily, even if he is like Calm Mind HP Fire. And the coverage is his team really, really hard as well, so that's super nice for us as well. Next up, we have an Akaberry Steelix, which is going to be our rocker this week, rocking out with Heavy Slam, Fire Fang, Stealth Rock, and Roar. It's Aka partly for said Comfey. It also helps us check the Mewtwo to a certain extent. We can take a Fire Blast from that thing 100% of the time, pretty much. It gives us a good rocker. It gives us mon to roar out potential setup like Komodo and mons like that. And yeah, Steelix is just kind of here to get up rocks and, you know, maybe potentially roar things around and gather chip on his team. Next up, we have a pretty standard choice Scarf Victini. Actually Adamant though, so his team does not appreciate switching into Adamant Victini. He does have the Milotic, like I said, but if we can catch that thing with a Bolt Strike, we are most definitely to it KOing that thing. But we're rocking out with U-Turn, V-Create, Bolt Strike, Zen Headbutt. Hits his team very, very hard. It gives me a good check to the Scizor as well, which we switch into pretty much 100% of the time, as long as we don't switch into a knockoff, which is great. And then we have our Rotom Wash rocking out here with an Iapapa Berry, Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, Thunderbolt, and Toxic. Decent amount of offense, so we can hit things like Milotic pretty hard if he is, you know, a more Fizz Def set, which if it does come, I do believe that's definitely the set he wants to run. He gives a decent switch into the Scizor as well. Iapapa just to kind of have some longevity in this game. Toxic to wear things down that we normally don't hit very hard. And this also gives us a decent pivot into the Nidoking as well, which if you look at our team right now, we don't switch into at all. So yeah, that's going to be the team. I'm going to get away that horrible cropping job right there and open up the screen a little bit. As you can see, the opponent, the 6 my opponent elected to go with, it looks like he went with the Nidoking, the Mega Scizor, Mewtwo, Comfey, Kumo-o, and Incineroar. Nothing too crazy, except for the fact that I really did expect Torrentee to come. I thought it was a really good model in this matchup. It was one of his only ways of outspeeding a Lucario, which is, you know, really, really big here. And I definitely expected my Milotic. And not saying my Milotic is phenomenal for me, especially for my Victini, because Victini, once rocks are up, it basically comes in, it clicks V-Create, and something dies. So that's absolutely really, really nice for our team. And yeah, with that being said, I'm going to lead off with my Rotom starting off. Reason being that I figure, you know, if he wants to lead off with the Nidoking and get out of rocks, because that is one of his likely rockers. Kumo-o could be rocks as well, but I don't think it is in this matchup. I think it much more so prefers setup or something like that. I can potentially scare this thing out. And make it to where he doesn't really want to set up rocks in front of my face. He wants to keep this thing healthy because it's a phenomenal breaker versus my team if you can get it on the right mon. But yeah, he is going to switch out turn 1. We do get that play right. He does lead off with the Nidoking as he goes out into the Kumo-o, which is great, as I do just go for a Hydro Pump. I didn't want to mess around. I thought maybe he could be like a Sash lead or something like that just to guarantee get rocks up, which would make sense if he wanted to chip things down like Victini and all that stuff, as he is going to go for an Autotomize right here in the face of my Rotom. And Kumo-o is pretty scary, but I know for a fact as long as he's not sub, I can get a free Toxic off here and kind of lower this thing's longevity and its ability to sweep me, because if it is Toxic, it's a lot less scary. And especially being that he's not Dragon Dance, he's not really breaking through anything on my team initially. I think he went into this and set up a little too early, in all honesty, as he is going to go for his Z right here. Revealing to be the Devastating Drake. Now, I don't know if he's special with Clanging Scales or if that's like an outraged Dragonium Z or anything like that, but regardless, I should live the hit no matter what, especially if it's Clanging Scales, because I'm pretty sped-def Rotom right here. So he's going to throw off the cool Z-move animation. I think Devastating Drake is probably one of the coolest Z-move animations. Bring us down to 35 HP, but we're going to eat our Iapapa Berry, get back up to a pretty healthy amount, and then Volt Switch on out, which is great. This grabs us a lot of momentum. He can't really do anything to Oko any other members on my team and stuff like that. I'm going to go out into Roserade. Just, you know, if he is special, we eat a Flamethrower. If he's physical, he doesn't really have coverage to knock us out without a boost, and we have a decent amount of bulk in ourselves. Actually, I don't think we have any HP or defense, but he is going to go for the Flamethrower, revealing he was probably Clanging Scales, or he might have been mixed, but probably Clanging Scales. That's absolutely going to bounce off of our Roserade. I'm going to be able to go for the Dazzling Gleam and take out this Kumo-o right here. I figured losing health on my Roserade wouldn't be that big of a deal. I could still check the Comfey pretty well. And we do have the Steelix for Comfey too. So right here, he's going to go out into the Mewtwo, which would be scary in any other situation. But we do have a full health Spirit Tomb in the back. If he's physical, I'm not too scared. He can't break through us very well. If he's special, and he goes for like a Side Strike right here, something like that, we obviously are immune to it. That's what he does elect to go for. It doesn't affect our Spirit Tomb, which is great because this gives us pretty much a free turn. He's pretty much forced out. There's not much he can do to us, especially nothing that can Oko us, just because of our great defensive typing here against the Mewtwo. As he's going to go into the Incineroar, I'm going to predict that, go for the Toxic. I figured it was a no drawback play. Even if he stayed in with Mewtwo, I don't think he's trying to sub up on me. And Toxic was a pretty obvious play into either the Comfey or the Incineroar. If he would have went the Scizor on a potential Will-O-Wisp, that would have been a pretty crazy play. Or if he would have went Nidoking, again, pretty good play on his end, but I'm not too worried about that, as I do go out into my Rotom, as he makes a good play, goes for the U-turn, grabs a little bit of momentum on me, which is fine. I still think we're in a pretty good position here as he goes back out into his Mewtwo right here. But again, this just gives me a free Spirit Tomb every time this thing comes out. Even if he wants to go for a coverage move, it's pretty much bouncing off me. So I'm not too worried about this. Go back out into the Spirit Tomb. Pretty repetitive right here, but unfortunately that's just my best way of playing around this thing. He just goes for another Side Strike. We are obviously immune once again. I believe I go for a Foul Play this next turn right here, and we're slowly wearing down this Incineroar. If we can get up rocks, that would be absolutely phenomenal for us. But yeah, he is going to go into the Incineroar. No, I do. I double out, actually. Double out into the Rotom, expecting the Incineroar, as the switch was likely. He made it last time, and if he wanted to go into Nidoking or what do you call it, Scizor as a mid-ground play, we would have been able to cover that as well. So I figured Rotom was pretty no drawback. He's going to go and switch out into his Scizor, which is an interesting switch, but I suppose he did not switch into this thing very well at all. I am going to get off a big Hydro Pump on this because it is pre-Mega'd, so it's not going to take it as well as right here. He is going to throw off the Mega, you know, get back up to a pretty high amount, as I believe I'm going to go for a Volt Switch myself, just to grab a little bit of momentum. If he wants to roost up this turn, it gives me a free turn to go into my my Steelix, which is what I believe I like to do right here. Apologize, this game was a little while ago. No, I go into Victini. I didn't think the knockoff was very likely here, as he is going to go for the Roost. And this is a phenomenal position for us, because if he wants to go Incineroar and, you know, take even more chip from my Victini, as I am adamant, you know, that's absolutely great for me, because then he doesn't have great switch-ins to my Spiritomb and things like that. He is going to elect to go into the Incineroar, get the Intimidate off, as I believe I am just going to go for the U-turn. Yeah, just because there's no way he's staying in with Scizor. It's one of his better ways of winning this game, late game, if he can chip down my Victini and my Steelix. It definitely is a viable option for him to win. But I am going to go back out into my Rotom, kind of putting him into the cycle of, you know, Volt Turn and, you know, him entering the Vortex and not really being able to get out very well, as he is going to switch out into his Comfey, which is phenomenal, because this gives me the opportunity I need. I do miss a Hydro Pump, which is fine and dandy. I really don't matter it really doesn't matter too much, just because of the fact that, it wouldn't have been doing too much to this thing, in all honesty. He is going to go for a Calm Mind right here. I switched out. I didn't Volt Switch. I switched out hard because of the fact that he might have gone for like a Giga Drain or something like that. Life Orb, Giga Drain definitely would have taken me out from that range, so I didn't want to risk that. I go out into my Roserade. It's pretty useless at this point. And he is going to go for Hidden Power Fire. I do live this 100% of the time. And I'm going to go for a Sludge Bomb, which won't kill, but it'll do a big chunk unless we end up getting a critical hit. So this really does suck for my opponent. I do apologize for getting the crit. I don't think it mattered too much at the end of the day, just because of the fact that I still had a full health Steelix in the back that was also Akka. So again, I am not too worried about that, as I'm just going to stay in against this Nidoking incoming. I'm going to go for Giga Drain, and I actually get another crit. Now this one was much more big, because this is actually going to put me out of range of his Sludge Wave right here, which really does suck, because Roserade just claimed 2 kills for free. That it honestly probably shouldn't have had. Again, the Comfey one wasn't that big of a deal because of the fact that I could have just gone Steelix, got on my rocks, and been in a good position there. But the crit on the Nidoking is huge, being that I'm able to take that thing out and still have a Roserade right here. You know, at more health than I think it came in on, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. If not, just a little bit lower. So down goes the Nidoking. He's going to go into the Mewtwo. I'm just going to sack it off. I figured if he goes for like an Ice Beam or something like that, I don't really want my Spiritomb frozen or anything like that, which he does end up going for, revealing that he is Life Orb. And again, I just didn't really feel the need to save my Roserade at that point. It kind of lost to the Scizor if it got boosted at all. It lost to Mewtwo, and it also lost to the Incineroar. So again, there wasn't really too much of a reason to save it. But yeah, he is going to go out and do his Incineroar on my incoming Spiritomb. I believe I just go for a Foul Play, because it'll do more than Shadow Ball most of the time, I believe. We're going to chip it down a tiny bit, down below 50%, and he's going to take even more Toxic Chips. So this thing is getting absolutely worn down a bunch right here, as I'm going to pull the switch out. I'm going to go out into my Steelix, mainly because I just want to get rocks up. My Steelix serves like no purpose at this point. He is going to go for a Darkest Lariat, just trying to damage my team as much as possible before this thing goes down, which is again completely fine. I live any hit from this thing, especially being that I'm Akka. I absolutely chew from this thing, so I'm going to just get up my rocks. His only way of defogging it away is the Scizor, and if he wants to give me a free turn with the Scizor, that's completely fine. And I can kind of ensure I keep my rocks up. If he wants to go into the Scizor, I have Fire Fang, and I can kind of click Fire Fang and then just spam rocks until I die. But right here, he is going to actually be brought down into his Iapapa range, which is a bit annoying. It just kind of delays the inevitable with this Incineroar of it getting chipped down. With how much Toxic it's racked up right here, it goes back down to like 50% almost, and it has to come back in on rocks later and all that stuff, as he's going to go for another Flare Blitz. Unfortunately, I don't have the Earthquake on this thing, so my best option right now is to kind of just Roar. I do live that Flare Blitz, but he's going to take a little bit of chip. I'm going to Roar him out. I don't remember if he goes out into the Mewtwo or the Scizor right here. He ends up going out into the Mewtwo, which is again fine, not too big of a deal. I'm completely fine with this Mon coming out. It doesn't really threaten me all too much, as he does take a little bit of rock chip, and he's going to be able to ice beam my Steelix, take it out. Again, there's no reason I'm risking my Spirit Tomb. It is still very, very healthy in the back, but I figured it's just better for me overall to, you know, not risk the freeze or anything like that. And Steelix wasn't doing anything from the range of health it was at. Anyways, I didn't need it to check anything. So down goes Steelix. I'm going to go back out into my Spirit Tomb. He's going to pull the switch out into his Incineroar. I believe I just threw off a pretty free foul play right here. As he does get off an Intimidate, which is, again, completely fine. I get off the foul play, and that plus Toxic should definitely take out this Incineroar, as the foul play itself actually ends up taking it out, so I'm wrong. But yeah, down goes the Incineroar, which is, again, really, really nice. He's going to go out into his Mega Sizzle right here. He's going to take some Rocks Chip and be down at about 50-ish%. Now, I don't want this thing to use me as setup fodder. I don't want it to be set up all over. I'm going to pull the switch out into my Rotom so I can potentially pivot around this thing. He ends up going for the Curse, which is very, very scary. Curse Scizor is actually a pretty good break versus my team, in all honesty. I still do have the Victini in the back, so as long as I don't let this thing get super boosted, we should be fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a Volt Switch, and I'm going to go out into Lucario, being that I don't think that he clicks Superpower this turn if he has it. But I don't want to risk the knockoff. I could definitely see knockoff coming out, and if I lose my Victini, I might lose to this Mon, but we're actually going to bring him down into range where he needs to roost and get back up to a healthy amount, and I'm going to get into my Lucario, and in my mind, my best play is to 100% click Swords Dance. If he has Superpower, he knocks me out regardless, but then he loses his boost. I got into Victini, I click V-Create, and I win the game, because then after that Mewtwo comes out, I got into Spirit Tomb, and then I win the game like that. Right here, I am going to click the Swords Dance, get up to +2 on this Scizor, as he is going to go for the U-turn, showing me that he, unfortunately, does not have any coverage to hit me. He was likely cursed. I mean, he showed us his whole moveset. I don't know if he clicked Bullet Punch yet, but he was Cursed, Bullet Punch, U-turn, and Roost right here. So I am going to get it to +2, and this Mewtwo actually is definitely in range of a +2 Bullet Punch, which is exactly what we wanted in this situation. I'm going to be able to pick off this thing with the Bullet Punch, and Lucario is actually going to be able to sweep this game and give us a nice 4-0 victory. So GG's to my opponent. There was definitely a little bit of unfortunate hacks there in the middle of the game with the Rose Raid, creating both his Comfey and his Nidoking, which definitely put him even farther on the back foot. However, I think we probably would have pulled out this game anyways. I think our matchup was really, really nice, and it would have been really tough for our opponent to overcome, you know, Lucario plus Victini in the end game, and they kind of just ran through his team. But yeah, again, GG's to John. Thank you guys. Oh, GG's to John. I wanted to talk about record. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to talk about record. I believe this brings us up to 6-3. No. 5-3. 5-3. I apologize. So that with the forfeit win last week, we went to 4-3, 5-3 this week. So hopefully we can kind of pick up a streak going. We were 3-3 after our most recent loss to It's, which was the last UPO video that went up. So hopefully we can pick up a hot streak and get ourselves back into the playoff race, or, you know, into the higher seeds, because we did start off 3-0 actually, which is pretty crazy to think about now that we dropped from 3-0 to 3-3. Actually really depressing. But yeah, hopefully we can pick up a dub next week. I believe we play Obo in a Seattle Sandstorms, which will definitely be a fun game. I think he has a Rayquaza, which is terrifying because my team does not switch into Rayquaza. But yeah, we'll cross that road once we get there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are new, be sure to subscribe so you can catch all our league games as they go up every single week. And I'm gonna get out of here. Later.